welcome to the E.Y.E podcast. This is Evan Yearwood, and today I have somebody extremely special, Mr. Robby Robinson, the Black Prince. If you know anything about bodybuilding,
it's so funny.
You should know who this guy is. This guy is four times Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
6 times Mr. Olympia. You won over 25 different awards. And what's probably the most incredible thing is that you're 75 years old and you look more fit than like most 20-year-olds that I know, right? And on top of that, which is so important about this interview, is that you have sickle cell anemia, which when I heard about for the first time, it blew me away because I'm like, first of all, how do you become Mr. Olympia with sickle cell anemia? First of all. And then second of all, you're 75 years old, still killing it. So I'm gonna give you a chance.
You're killing it.
You're killing it, man. It's out of this world, and I know you got a lot of gems and secrets.
I love what I do. I enjoy life. I enjoy life. I love life, and I've been like healthy my whole life. So I think that in a sense built the foundation. Growing up on a farm with my family in the South, everything was grown on the farm. So I didn't know that with grocery markets, or you could get tomatoes in a can, or food in a can. I never saw such a thing. So coming out of the swamps was like a whole new awakening to me, to a new world. But being healthy my whole life, that was my whole key, I think. Living off that farm food. We didn't have a lot of money in my family, so we kind of grew up eating the wild game. Venison, alligator tail, fish, the wild turkeys in the woods. That's how we basically grew up. That's how we ate. We had no idea there was a world outside of that. So living that lifestyle and being healthy my whole life is something that was a challenge to myself. I wanted to see if I really took care of myself, will I maintain a youthfulness and a vitality about life and vitality about, wanting to be successful still as I got older. That was what I noticed mostly about older people, including myself. You start to think, I can't do that anymore. And I'm the kind of person to believe that you can do anything, anytime. I've taken care of myself. But see, that's because I built a good foundation. And I think that makes the difference, having a healthy foundation. You can have that healthy foundation, anything is possible. You can have all the money in the world. If you are not healthy, you're not happy. Sorry.
That's true.
True.
You can't breathe. You can't walk.
All the money
you
in
can't
the world,
move,
bro. And if you're not healthy, you're not a happy person. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I could tell immediately just when I met you that being healthy and focusing on only things that promote being healthy was like a major priority for you, right? And you've even said yourself, like out of all your peers that were in bodybuilding and siblings, like you're the one that's still alive, right? Because you've lived such a strictly healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. I grew up in our family were like moonshiners. I grew up in that kind of environment. And that was how they made their living those days. Nobody had no money. So everybody was like living off of white lightning, as they call it. And my family were moonshiners. And they had a juke joint, and they sold whiskey and barbecue and stuff like that to make a living. And I grew up in my life observing all of this, and I said, wow, I want to do better. I want to become something different. I want to achieve things, and I want to see what that world was beyond the swamp. It was an adventurer. So I kind of lived that life of, what's beyond the swamps. And I ventured to that world. It was a rude awakening. But I'm glad I left. I can say I'm glad I left the swamps, all right? It was a great journey. Yeah. I love life. I'm like happy and I'm healthy. Sickle cell anemia, I've had my crisis with it. And I think our biggest problem of the people that have it, this disease, is, I wouldn't even say a disease. I just think it's a blood disorder. That's how I want to say. That's how I used to talk about it, because I didn't know that much about it. And then doing all the research and finding out, but hey, this thing can hurt you. And I really think I'm thankful for that. I started taking care of myself young. And I really do think that's why I still have this foundation of muscle quality and strength. And I'm focused. I want to keep moving. I want to keep doing things. And I think that's one of the main things. You have to keep moving. You start to slow down, then life slows down. All kind of things start getting inside of this. So I just try to focus on
I'm
the
so
positive.
grateful for somebody like you. I'm so grateful for somebody like you because, you know, me growing up with sickle cell anemia, I was always told what I couldn't do.
Yeah.
You can't play sports.
You can't do this.
You can't work out too much. And I always wanted to get fit and get bigger and stronger. And I was an active kid, but I didn't believe I could work out until I saw this YouTube video about this guy named Rory Thompson. He was the only person I knew that was bodybuilding with sickle cell.
Yeah.
And earlier this year, he posted a picture of you. And he's like, man, I just want to congratulate former Mr. Olympia, Black Prince, Robby Robinson. And I'm like, what? There's a dude with sickle cell anemia that became Mr. Olympia. That blows my mind because people used to tell me like, yo, like you're going to have a stroke if you play basketball. You know, like I just play it safe. Like, I don't know if you'll make it past 40. People would be brutally honest with me.
I thought the same way. I was like younger, and it hit me, and I said, you know, if you keep happening like this, I already had gave myself, I said, you're not going to be able to live to 20, 24 years old. I already knew that I had a problem. I knew that was something wrong, but there was nothing that I could do about it. In those days, the only doctor you went to was the root doctor. So the root doctor, Miss May, you go to Miss May tell you to drink this tea. You drink this tea and you feel better, you feel better, you feel better. And then you go back to that again. You got to go back to Miss May to get some more tea. So that's how I lived with the sickle cell. You know, growing up into my old life, playing sports, I mean, great athlete and all of that. But it doesn't really hit me hard until I came to bodybuilding. That was one of my first experiences with what I thought was a disease, but I didn't know what it was because we didn't have the money go to a doctor to check me out to see what sickle cell was. Nobody, it was unheard of. It's like, what are you talking about? What is that? People didn't even know what that was. Okay. So knowing what it is myself, I did my own research and I started thinking, wow, you know, this is not nice. I mean, you can have a heart attack. You're not going to live to you already got you living up to 50. So you're already freaked out, paranoid. Am I going to make it through the 50? Now, but it's serious. That's how I was thinking. I'm thinking, well, dang, I mean, the person was 24. Now, I might not live to get 50. So it really shook me up. It really did. And I got in touch with Dr. Rand. Dr. Rand was one of the people that I think had a huge hand in giving me that extension of life because what he did, he developed this intravenous feeding program. And what it was all the nutrients that builds the blood, that makes the blood corpuscles stronger. I went to him.
How old were you when that happened?
Say again?
How old were you when he started doing the intravenous with the nutrients?
I started doing that. I was like in my 30s. I was saying my 30s, going into my 40s. Yeah. And I started doing it with him because I was having the sickle cell. I had flown from here to Latin America. And in that process, what you call it, the blood oxygen level took a dive. And then when I came back up here, my body went into a sickle cell crisis because now I've been at that lower attitude, coming back to this high altitude, everything failed me. I had to rush myself to the VA hospital. They put me in what you call these big diving bells to get my oxygen level back up, put me on oxygen machine, put me on treadmills to get the oxygen level. Like, if you don't happen, you have a heart attack, aneurysm of the brain. That is the problem that comes out of that. You know, if you go through that.
The same thing happened to me last year. I was traveling with my sister to Colorado, and I didn't realize I can't be in high altitude. And I was in the high mountains for 3 days, 8,000 feet. And I didn't know.
Don't know. I don't know. That's I didn't know, bro. Even though I've had it and had my things with it, it levels off, and then I took that tour to Latin America. They were paying me all this money, and I'm thinking like, wow, you know, this is great. But then when I tried to come back up to the attitude, I just collapsed. Couldn't stop it. I got home, couldn't move, shaking, joints hurting.
Wow.
I'm thinking, oh man, this is a full-blown sickle cell crisis. And so I went to Dr. Rand. Dr. Rand started giving me the intravenous feeding, and he put something in there they call glutathione. And this glutathione, what it does to the body, it's like the nutrient. It keeps you young, revives your body, help your body build muscle, build your blood back up. And I went to him for like years. If it had not been for him giving me, he called it the Robby fix. And I would go in there and I get all these nutrients, amino acids and supplement, all the B12 vitamins, vitamin C, all vitamin A, vitamin B, all these are going into the body. You put on 2 pounds after you do this feeding. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was able to see, people don't realize that you're feeding the blood cells, the liver, the kidney, the organ. So they're going to produce their own hormones too. People don't realize that. You can stimulate your own body to produce what they call thyroxine. All of this is right in our body. Growth hormone, thyroxine, testosterone. We just have to figure out how to trigger it and keep ourselves healthy and more fruits. But people that have sickle cell anemia, you need to eat more fruits and more vegetables because of all the vitamin K's in there that help your body, your blood builds the blood up. You can't be eating all them French fries and cookies and cakes and sugars. Sugar is your number one enemy. You have to downsize it. If you downsize it, as I have in my whole life, just fruits. I have watermelon, I have cantaloupes, I have the honeydew melon, papayas. So I eat like that, apples, bananas, because your body needs these. They're full of antioxidants, so it helps builds the body up. I don't want to sound preaching, but I care about you guys. I have this thing, and I haven't had it in a long time. Doing what I'm telling you guys to do: eat more vegetables, eat more fruits. It's going to build your body up. It's going to help you build more blood. You have to do these things. If you don't do it, you're going to just create your own health. Eat healthier. Eat healthier foods. The more you eat healthier, the healthier your blood becomes. You have to understand that. All that sugar it's all like anybody that has sickle cell is your death warrant. Seriously. Downsize it. Come off of it as much as you possibly.
I want to speak on this because there's something about you and your mindset that I realized instantly. As soon as I saw your Instagram page, you have a huge following. People love you, but you always preach about the mind, the mind, the mind. What drove you to want to bodybuild knowing you have sickle cell anemia? Because I mean, that's audacity. Logically, most people wouldn't think I want to be in the bodybuilding. But not only did you say, I'm going to conquer the sickle cell anemia, which you have, but you also said, I'm going to bodybuild. And then you also said, I'm going to compete at the highest level against people like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, where did this come from?
It started when I was like about, I would say 8, 9, 10. I love to read. I love reading. And I remember getting this book, and this book was talking about developing your mindset. Little paperback thick book. And I remember I stuttered as a kid. You know when you stutter, everybody picking at you. You already, all these people, they're picking at you. They don't have any empathy or sympathy for you when you're doing all these things. And I remember reading this book, and it was talking about the mind, how you develop yourself to be calmer, to relax, to inhale the energies that are in the universe. This is what I used to do in my mom's closet. I would lie on the floor, hold my hands up. And I really believed that there was an empowerment of energy that went into my being throughout my life. And I was absorbed by this. And I remember reading from this book in front of this mirror every day. It takes practice. If you want something to change, you got to change. You got to change your whole makeup first. And it starts here. You have to challenge yourself here. You know how to say no. Why not practice it? No, I'm not. I'm going to depreciate that. I'm going to take this out of my life. I'm going to place it over here. I'm going to be a better me. That's what I tried to do with myself. And in that process of being in that closet and overcoming stuttering, it was a shock to me that you can actually develop yourself like that, even though this is a crisis for you in your life, or you think it's a crisis, or you're probably saying, why me? But it is what it is. So I took care of it. I got in front of that mirror and read every single day. By the time I got through, the teachers at school was asking me to recite poems to kids. She liked my voice, how I said things, the resonoration of the voice and the power of it. And I think I did all these things in that closet. I did those I even worked out in that closet every single day, 6 days a week, with train wheels and iron pipes, and built my physique up. People don't understand how powerful the mind is. Anything you believe, you can achieve it. You got to work at it, but that's the good part.
Wow.
Yeah, think about what if you believe in something so sincerely and you do the work to achieve it, it should happen. Okay, things sometimes might not make it there, but okay, you go back and you look at the piece and say, but what could I have done better? That's how I see things. And I've always been living like that with the bodybuilding. I did the same thing, you know, with my life and coming out of it. When I went through the sickle cell crisis, the same thing. And then I met this guy by the name of Demerick Delzak. Emmerich is the guy that helped put together this sickle cell life product. I stand by that product. That product brought me to from the brink of, I was just like ready to give up everything, just stop it. You know, no more tours, no more exhibitions, no more anything. And Emmerich said, Robby, why don't you try this product? I tried the product and I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting. I started feeling better.
I want to make sure the audience understands what you're talking about. He's talking about a product that was developed, was it specifically for you, called Sickle Life?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it helps regenerate new blood cells. And it's like a natural antioxidant.
Natural interaction with the blood. Yeah. And it's all just stem cells from eggs. See, people don't realize how powerful an egg is. It's a powerful unit. It's one of the best things you could use to build your body, to nourish the body. I'm not saying that's the only thing. Sure, that's chicken and fish and certain amounts of beef and, you know, whatever else you like to eat. But the leaner and more quality foods that you eat, I mean, it's just going to be a healthier blood. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're not going to be having all the sickle cell crisis. You really need to go online to my online store and purchase this product. And this is not a seller. If it had not been for Emmerich, I didn't know what I was doing, because I was at the same time spending all this money going to a hyperbaric chamber. That's $100 an hour. You go and get your blood transfusion. That's $350 plus. You know, you got to pay $150 to the person to give you the IV. So you're spending money like water. Well, I knew it. 250,000 gone. You know, you lost all that money to keep yourself healthy. But then when I got that with Emmerich and Dr. Rand, that whole thing changed, because my blood now was being fed by these nutrients. You eat the food, but you know, a lot of time we eat maybe too fast. And we maybe eat and drink, when that's something people shouldn't do. You should drink first, 30 minutes, 45 minutes after drinking water again, because this what help your body build muscle and burn fat, the movement of water through and out the system. If you get that system down, you'll be amazed. Your whole body changes.
For everybody that wants to know how do you get the Sickle Life, we're gonna put it in the description so you can go to Mr. Robinson's page and go and get it. So don't worry, the link will be in the description, how to get the Sickle Life. So I'm just plugging that in there so they know how to get it. I
appreciate that. Thank you.
I bought it.
Yeah,
I bought it, and I also reached out to Emmerich, and he sent me a couple bottles for free, because not only obviously he's making money off of it, but he genuinely wants to see the results from people that have sickle cell anemia. He wants to see it. Yeah. So he sent me 3 bottles for free, and
he's a good man. He's a good man, bro. I'm telling you, there's nobody like Emmerich.
Yeah.
I mean, Emmerich came in there, really pretty much gave me new life. Really, seriously. I started taking that product. I was not in a good place. I have a huge oxygen tank right here in my place. I'm on that oxygen tank 24/7. Now I might do it every now and then. I have it right here by my bed. I wake up and get some pains around the heart. I don't feel well in my head. I reach over, grab my oxygen tank, put it on my face, bomb, turn the machine on. See, that's how I was living. But since I started taking that Sickle life, eating healthier, more than what I was, less food, smaller meals, just like I said you, Evan, the smaller meals works better. You can fill it with snacks like rice cakes and maybe a tablespoon of cashew butter. Fat that helps your body again build red blood cells. You see what I'm saying? All these things I do is to keep myself healthy. Dr. Rand, hey, Emmerich, God bless the man. I wish him all the best. He gave me a reason to want to go out there and train again. I really, and I take
and you're doing it. You're training. You out there killing it.
3 capsules a day, bro. 2 times a day, 6 capsules. So that keeps my body so up there. I found that right amount that works for me. Bro, I feel so young. I don't feel like a 75-year-old man. I'm sorry. I feel young, full of life. I want to do things. When I get off from you, I'm on my way to the gym to bum and blitz. Yeah, oh yeah. Got to keep moving.
I want to delve deeper into your mind, because as somebody growing up with sickle cell, I didn't have it as bad as you. You have a worse version than me. I know people that have sickle cell anemia, and maybe they can see you're an example, but you're like an outlier. You're like a rare case. But I understand the reason why you're a rare case is because you developed your mind.
Yeah.
So maybe explain the thought process and why you decided to dare to go against what everybody said, that you're doomed because you have sickle cell anemia, you're crazy for wanting to be a bodybuilder. What made you say, no, you're wrong, I can do this? Like, can you explain that thought process so maybe somebody else with sickle cell anemia that's seeing this can adopt that same mindset?
I was the type of person, I am still the type of person that says, if you say no, I say, yes, I can. That's just how I am. I will show you. I will prove that wrong. When it came down to you as you get older as a bodybuilder, say, well, you can't build muscle. I said, I don't want to hear that. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to eat right, drink a little bit more water, work on my posing, keep the weight heavy one week, keep the weight light reps the next week, do a lot of basic exercises, do my aerobics. I'm going to show you. That's exactly how I do it. It's just, it's a challenge to me for you to tell me I can't do something. I'm going to do it anyway. It's just, it's a made up mind. The mind is made up. You can't get in there and try to take that out. It's embedded. And that's what you have to do. You have to develop this. So nobody can get in there but you. This is your world. That's how I see it. I'm going to dominate it. I'll listen to you in this ear, and it comes out of
the other one.
Seriously, I've been around people that are like that. It's I grew up. They were saying, "Oh, you'll never be nothing," and you can't do that. And they're bad with the other part of it. They're saying, "Well, them white people ain't gonna let you get up there and do that. They're already trying to scare you to death, Evan." And I just took that fear that they want to plant on me and use it as an energy and say, yes, I can. I've done that my whole life, even in bodybuilding. They were saying, the reason I was able to get into bodybuilding because of Vince Garanda. I was such an incredible specimen at that young age because I already had the physique. Joe Weider didn't give me this body. God, my mom and my pop, great genetics, gave me this body. I just figured out, oh, I like to work out. And from that point on, I built this tremendous physique. Just that thought. No, yes, I can. No, yes, I can. Yes, I can. I don't want to hear it. That's just how I've been with my whole life.
When was your first competition? Was it in high school?
What?
When was your first competition? Like, when did you officially start it? Like teenager, your 20s?
My first
like, walk us through it.
About 18, 19, 20s, yeah. I was going to all the competitions in the South, and back in those days, you weren't really welcome because there were no really black bodybuilders. I was the only one going all back up in places where you normally don't go. You normally don't go. but I was all up in those areas. I just love bodybuilding. And I would go up in places where they got the signs over there telling you, don't let the sun catch you down here, boy. I went through all this, everything. I look back on it. Sometimes the mind gives you these flashbacks, and you look back at it and go like, wow, didn't I see that sign? Didn't I see that? Serious. That's how the mind magnifies things back to you that, you maybe not have forgotten, but it just made me stronger. All those things made me stronger. I didn't become saying, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm going to be afraid. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to find a route. There's a route to whatever you want to get accomplished. So I'm going to find this route, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it. That's when I like to work with people. But I like to work with people. They say, well, I have this kind of problem. I got one guy say, I have a hip problem. And I said, well, why don't we get more fascia therapy? Let the fascia person work on that for a bit so the person feels better. So I use all these little pieces that have helped my body keep me healthy, use it basically with all my clients. And I enjoy it. It's fun for me.
And his work, I mean, you look at Tim Taylor, the real estate guy, he became a men's fitness cover model. One of the guys you trained, Tim Taylor.
Yeah. Oh God. You talking about Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim. But you get Tim and I had met in Florida. I mean, he's such successful businessman. Building after building a real estate in Florida and in Mexico. So he's a very well-to-do person. But then he had a lot of his own, want to get in great shape. But then he was, I'll do it good for 3 or 4 days, and then I go back and drink my water, my beer, and my lobster. You know what I'm saying? So he came to me and he said, Robby, he said, I want to get in the best shape of my life. I looked at him and go like, really? I looked at him seriously, because that's a big challenge. You're 55, you want to get in the best shape of your life. And he would choose me to come work with me. But he's done all the research. That he comes to me, I'm going to kick his booty. He knows that. He knew that. He already knew, had made up his mind he was going to have to work harder than he'd ever had. And that's what I carried him to. I carried him to the street over here on Santa Monica, up the hill, is straight up in the air, like this. And I had him lunge that hill. That's how I break in all my clients. Help you establish an energy depth already. Lunging up that hill is not an easy job. You're going to break down. I'm going to look around to say, embrace the pain. That's how I deal with people, clients, and myself, to say, I'm lunging right along with him, tell him, embrace the pain. And he's out of breath. He's sweating harder than his heart is beating. But then when he gets to the top of that hill, he's so relieved because he look over and he can see me right there with him. That empowered him to make that journey. And then he said, Robby, I want to work with you for 16 weeks. He came to me for 16 weeks. The guy worked so hard. I was so proud of him, Evans, that he just really put in the numbers, stayed on. He was never late, always on time, always eating his food, everything. I observed him because I was preparing some of the food for us, show him how to get it done. And he just blossomed into this cover boy. So now he has another 8 covers to get done. Just from that. And anybody
he's going for it.
Yeah, bro. Anybody can do this. You just have to put in the word Tim put in. Tim put in the work. He didn't play around with it. He spent his money. He paid me well, and he went in and he did the job. Proud of the guy. Love him like a brother. You have no idea. He worked so hard. Sometimes I felt sorry for him. He was working so hard. I'm gonna back off the stress maybe a little bit, and maybe not so many drop sets or something like that, or not having to lunge all the way down and all the way back. But I'm on his case the whole time because that's what he needed to break down that wall. He loved ice cream. That was his number one. You see what I'm saying? That he had to break that habit. I said, if you go,
I love donuts. I'm not gonna lie. I love
love
donuts.
Ice cream. You say, he goes, he came to me. He said, Robby, I'm craving ice cream. I said, well, you can. That's your wall. That's your journey. And I say, that's good. You're craving it. That whole idea is don't take it in. So come showtime, he was a little bit perturbed. He hadn't got there already. So we had to kind of balance out his carbohydrates. So he's a little carbohydrate sensitive. So we had to drop the carbohydrate down and then slowly bring it back up. That's how he peaked for that company. Love the man. He's a great guy.
Wow.
Whatever he say he's gonna do, he do. He put in the word. He didn't play around with it. Loved him to
I want to
greatness.
talk about the notoriety that you've also experienced in your life, because you're known as the Black Prince. Like, I remember you were telling me a story of how you went to a gym, like, what was it, in Germany or somewhere overseas, and the guy took you downstairs, like, listen, we want to show you how much we loved you, and on the wall was all pictures of you. So, like, maybe talk about, like, what was it like? All right, now you've become the Black Prince, you've been Mr. Olympia, Mr. Universe. What was that experience like, having that notoriety and those accomplishments? Because not a lot of people reach that type of status, man. That's really incredible.
I don't know. I just felt. I thought it was awesome. You know, you're looking at what everything that people said that you weren't going to be able to do. That's how it is. You look at it's like the mind flashed back all these things. Evans, this is interesting with myself. That's how it is with me. And you look at all of those things that people saying, "Oh, you'll never be Mr. Universe. You'll never make the cover of a magazine. You'll never do this. They're never going to put you on the cover." You listen to all this stuff, you become convicted by that. You allow somebody to break down your dream. I won't lie. I'm sorry. I think a lot of people allow people to detour them to their dream. And that's the kind of person you don't want to be. Put him over there in the corner. You don't want to, but you have to you're known by the company you keep. If you keep bad company, bad things happen. You keep good company, nobody's perfect, but you try to make sure that the good people that are around you are good people. And I have a great group of good people around me. And I think that's one of the reasons I am where I am today. Seriously.
Yeah, that's key. Did you ever train with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Did I have a what?
Did you ever train with Arnold?
Arnold and I trained together in 1975. I love the guy because he was one of the people that we were getting ready for he was getting for the Mr. Olympia and I was getting ready for Mr. World. And we were doing like leg extensions. And I remember never experiencing anything like what we went through, donkey calf raises, leg extension. And it was him and I back to back in the gym doing these things. And you get around those kind of people like him and Ed Corney, you just kind of absorb their energies. You want to do the same thing. You want to be better than yourself. You want to do better. You want to improve. You want to be like them in a sense. And you pick these people that you think are role models and you kind of build yourself around into that image. And so using all their power, seeing it's Corny squatting with 3 1/4 in the corner, in the last 4 or 5 reps, he can hardly breathe. His whole body is shaking. And I said to myself when I first saw this at 24, I said, wow, that's what you have to do to build muscle. So all these little things that happen, I say visions or something like you flashbacks in your mind, but those kind of things was the thing that gave me all the energy and the desire to just say, no, there's nothing I cannot do. Seeing all do leg extensions, seeing them do the concentration curl, seeing that corner squatting, seeing myself being challenged by Kenny Waller. You walk into the gym, he wants to challenge you with 150-pound dumbbell. He get 8, I get 5. Never lift 150-pound dumbbells in my life. You hear what I say, Evans? Never lift that kind of weight in my life. But for some reason, with him and that thing, I got 5 reps with 150 pounds.
He brought that type of
that's a lot
energy,
of weight.
That energy.
But that's that's what I had those kind of people around me to empower me in a sense. Yeah, make me be better, be a better Robby.
A lot of guys, they get into bodybuilding because they want to be more attractive and like attract women and stuff like that. When your body started looking nice, right, like crazy nice, like how was your experience with women? Because this is something guys need to know. They want to know what's the fruits of the results. You know what I mean? When you looking good, so maybe explain that when you was in your 20s.
You have to be careful out there. As I say, the people that you have around you it's very important. That including women. Sometimes you can dial into something that you think that is the best thing that ever happened to you, and it's not that way. That's you consider that a failure. Okay, that's a failure. But then in that lifestyle, so much is thrown at you that sometimes you can miss things. You can end up in bad situations. And myself, I had those moments too. You can get yourself in situations you don't know what, how you got in a situation. But then all of a sudden you're being drawn into a situation where you got to defend yourself. So I learned early on, you trust very few people, and you allow yourself to be by yourself. That's very important. And if you're going to have a woman in your life, I mean, I would rather have someone that's really not into, per se, bodybuilding. That lifestyle is just kind of like it's the lifestyle of the rich and the famous. There's so many women after you that send you messages and pictures. You don't know. You get confused in that matter. So that is out there in a heavy way, and you just have to be careful and not let yourself become toxic to it, because it's there. I mean, the drugs are there, everything is there. So you can either be a good person.
So the advice for young men that, all right, like you're gonna get those results, but the real advice is you got to be very disciplined and wary, because she might be pretty from far, but she might be far from pretty.
Exactly.
You get up close.
You have to be careful with it. As I say, I went through my own situations, and sometimes if you listen to your body in these situations, then you end up wrong. This is like what happened to Sean. You react to something, it don't come out the way you want, and then you end up in a bad place. I think I would tell all the bodybuilders out there that I have that notoriety, and you develop that sense of, being one of the greats in all time, is just be careful with the people you hang out with.
It's always the basics, man. It's always the simple things. People overlook, be careful who you hang out with, but it's huge, it's massive.
Yeah.
I like to tell people that something very interesting happens when you're walking with other people.
Yeah.
Either you adjust to the pace that they're walking to, or they adjust to your pace.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that happens unconsciously without talking. So it's like, whose pace are you adjusting to? Whose lifestyle are you living up to? What do they got you thinking about, reading, talking about? So that's very huge, and this is things I try not to overlook myself.
Yeah, you end up in situations where you think you're in a good place and you're not in a good place. When I first to California in 1975, I was told that I would get a contract, but then when I got here and showed everybody the letter, everybody was laughing at me because it didn't mean anything. It was just an invitation that has no value. So I'm sorry, you might not believe, for about the first 3 weeks, I slept on top of Gold's Gym with a blanket on the pillow. I had gave up everything I had in Florida. See, in those days,
when you first started,
See, people don't realize that. I quit my job. I took the little money when I had, came out here, and I was told I was going to get a contract. When I got out here, that wasn't true. So you have to be careful in those situations. Make sure you got a good lawyer, somebody that's going to back you up. That way you can protect your image and your name and your likeness. But if you don't, you can be used and abused just like a wet dish rag. And I was able to come out of it because once I started appearing on the cover of magazines, all of a sudden I would be paying $1,500 a pop. Thousands of dollars. But that's because I have a good physique. You see what I'm saying? That's what I was saying to you. Fate, you can take a chance sometime, bad things can happen. But then tomorrow that could change. See, you don't know. It can change. So within that, you might not believe it, within that means keeping on top of Gold's Gym, all of a sudden I appeared on the first cover of the magazine. Boom, hitting a shot, exhibitions all over the world. Yes, appearances everywhere.
And $1,500.
That's what I'm saying. See,
a shot is a lot more now. How much is that now? What is that, like $7,000?
What?
You're getting paid $1,500 a pop, right? That's like $17,000 now.
That's right. Money. Real quick, like there you go. You see what I'm saying? But see, that was all of a sudden because I had made the cover of a magazine. And see, and in those days, they didn't believe in putting blacks on the cover. They said it don't sell. But then when they put me on that cover, it was one of their best sellers. The ladies in the office told me, Robby, this is the best selling magazine ever. There's people are not going to tell you that, but see, the ladies like me. They go, Robby, this is the best selling magazine ever. You understand what I'm saying? from that point on, exhibition seminars, and those days, $1,500 was a lot of money. So I did that like, oh my God, over 100 times in that 6 months. In 6 months, I completely lift myself back up to where I can live a life, beautiful apartment, car, money in the bank. You see what I'm saying? Life, that's how life is. It's not perfect. It's never gonna be perfect. See, people want it to be perfect. It's not. So you might as well get used to it, accept that fact, and don't think you're a victim. There's a lot of victims out there, okay? So that's how I live life. I'm in a happy place, Evans, you might not believe, and I feel so young here.
Yeah, you've been telling me that since the summer, man. I believe it. You've been telling me that since the summer. Every time
I feel alive, man.
I believe it.
We got to keep these. I want to help all the people with the sickle cell, and maybe we can get on here again, and I can write up maybe some menus for them how to eat and the foods, and just share it with them. It could change their whole way of eating. I can make up a whole list of stuff that you can, can give to the people that help them feel better, feel healthier.
Okay,
make changes.
Well, we could definitely do that. We can create like a online sheet, a PDF that you can download.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I would love to do that.
We need to do that.
It'll help a lot of people that they can change it, even the younger kids, because I get even some younger kids coming to me and say, I have sickle cell anemia. How can you help me? I get a lot of this, Evan. So maybe we can just lay something out there for them. They can guide or something, or a pamphlet, something we can put together. They can order maybe to get it, all the paper on just file and just send it to people, because I think it do help. It would help a lot of people, especially the young.
We're gonna do that. Well, we're gonna do that. We'll
do that. I would appreciate it. I can work something like that and get it done.
Yeah. I love that, and it's been a pleasure doing this.
Oh yeah,
honestly,
hey,
me and you, we could talk for hours. Yeah, we're gonna do it again, and I'm gonna try to get. Wait, no, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Next time, I'm gonna try and be with you. Okay, so we can record together.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna fly out there.
I heard that.
But before you go, can you tell everybody to subscribe to Evan Yearwood Experience channel on YouTube? Just tell everybody to subscribe.
You want me to do it now?
Yeah, right now.
Okay. What do you want me to say, Evans?
Just tell everybody, hey, make sure you subscribe to Evan Yearwood's channel.
Okay. Let me say that again. One more time.
I said, make sure you subscribe to Evan Yearwood's channel. You don't got to say it exactly like that. Just tell them to subscribe. Tell them to support it.
All of you guys subscribe to Evan's Music channel. I'll be on there probably within a couple of weeks. We could talk more about sickle cell anemia, and I can give you some new upgrades and positive quotes. You guys have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.